Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to admit up front, this week's video was a tough one for me. I found myself well into the week with no idea what I was going to do. I didn't have any homemade MREs in backup. I didn't have any off-grid recipes coming to mind. I didn't have any freeze-dried content filmed, and believe me, those take a minute to get filmed. I had nothing. And I was really starting to stress out that I might not have a video this week. So I went out today on my lunch break in a desperate search to try to find something. First, I went to Five Below. I figured that might be cool if I could do a video from Five Below. But after walking around there for a few minutes, I realized there really wasn't a lot I could do. But lucky for me, the Five Below I went to sits right next door to a Home Goods. Now, my family loves to shop at Home Goods, particularly for Halloween stuff. And we've been in there recently looking around to see all the new stuff that they've got out for this year's lineup. And as always, they have some really cool food items. And in fact, we had dinner a couple of nights ago from food that we picked up on our last trip to Home Goods. But I figured, hey, I'll pop in there real quick and see what I can find. Maybe I can build a homemade MRE from Home Goods. And I told myself going into the store, I'm either going to put together an MRE here or I'm not going to have a video this week. And so began the desperate search for something I could use for a homemade MRE at Home Goods. And believe it or not, I pulled it off. Now, to be fair, it is a little disconnected. The flavor palette on this one is scattered at best, but I'm hoping that these things will work out because, as usual, this is not about putting together the perfect MRE and the perfect balance of food. It's about showcasing the items that I find and seeing if they're viable to use in a scenario like this. But without further ado, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu HG1. There it is. Just imagine this says HG1. When I went to print the label, I found out at that very moment I was out of toner. My printer was not even going to give me a crappy version of a label to put on this bag. So I'm just having to reuse one from a prior video. And there's not time between now and this weekend for me to get toner in, print the label, and reshoot and edit and all that kind of stuff before Sunday's release. So we're just going to have to pretend that that label's right. So let's let the chaos continue and let's open this bag and see what's inside. The first thing I'm going to pull out is my side dish. And the reason for that is that I need to get this thing cooking, but it's also the first thing that I found that let me know I might actually be able to pull this off. What I found was a product from a company called Asiatique, I believe is how you would pronounce it. It is teriyaki noodles. Now, unlike ramen noodles, these noodles are cooked and ready to go. So you actually don't really have to do anything to them other than mix all the ingredients together. But I'm going to get them in the trucker's lunchbox and get them cooking so that we can enjoy them the way they're intended. Now, the way this works is you just pop the top open like this, and inside you have a bag of noodles and a bag of sauce. And you just put those in there and then cook them in that package. They're supposed to be done in the microwave, but of course we're going to do things our way. Open up these noodles. Yep, they are fully cooked and ready to go. Let's pour them in our little takeout box. Next up, we've got our sauce, so let's get that opened up. Now that I'm looking back on this, I should have left both of them in their packages and put the packages in the trucker's lunchbox. But apparently right now I'm a complete idiot. This week has been frying my brain. I mean, I go from not having anything to putting together a chaotic mess, and now I'm not even thinking straight when it comes to how I should have cooked this. That smells delicious. I think that's gonna be good. But it's a sauce, it's got vegetables and stuff like that in there, so I think that's gonna work. So let's get that in there. Let's stir this up a little bit, let the sauce get in among the noodles, and then we're going to get this heated up. Look at this. I got carrots. I've got mushrooms. It smells incredible, so I have a feeling this is going to be a hit. All right, so let's see how the trucker's lunchbox is going to work out. Wah, wah. All right. Wow. Now I'm really regretting not just leaving them in those packages and throwing them in there. So here's what I'm going to do. Put some aluminum foil over the top. Cook it that way. All right, that's gonna have to work. Let's see what else is in this kit. Next up is our entree. Now, I've had one of these before, but when I saw this on the shelf, I knew that I needed to get this because, for one, it's got a protein in it. It's also something that I know I like. It's a good quality item, and it was on clearance, which makes this a much better deal than it would have been if I'd bought this stuff straight out. What I picked up was a pack of the Wild Planet tuna. This is the wild tuna and white bean salad. This is a blend of beans and carrots and peppers and tuna in oil. This is gonna be a great entree to go kind of alongside those noodles. Next up, we've got a walking around snack. And for that, I picked up this Quantum Energy Square. This is a salted peanut butter crunch protein and energy bar. Natural caffeine and protein in it. Anytime you can add protein bars into your meals, that's a good addition, especially something that might provide a little extra energy. I just hope that it's good. These also were on clearance. Next up, we have our dessert item. And for this, we have more peanut butter. We have a Yes Bar peanut butter and dark chocolate bar. It is a nutty, chewy cookie bar. I'm not familiar with this brand at all, and I'm just hoping that it's good. It looks pretty good on the back. Looks kind of like a granola bar. Hoping that's going to be a tasty treat. Once again, clearance. HomeGoods always has great clearance stuff. If you've ever seen any of my dehydrating videos, my dehydrator I purchased at HomeGoods on clearance for 1/3 of the price that it normally sells for. If you've got a HomeGoods in your area, go check them out because they've always got good sales. And if you're not familiar with them, HomeGoods is the same company that owns TJ Maxx. So they do carry a lot of the same kind of stuff, especially when it comes to holiday decor and things like that. And next up, I have our beverage, which is an Avalanche Cafe style chai latte. It's simply a powder mix you mix in with hot or cold water, stir it up, and you've got a nice refreshing beverage. Chai latte is my preference for an afternoon drink if I want something with a little bit of sweetness and just a little bit of a pick-me-up in the afternoon. And as the very last item in here, I've got a bonus item for this MRE. I picked up a bag of Nature's Garden Berry Nutty Mix. These are individually packaged. I forget how many of them come in this big bag, but it's a mix of different nuts and cherries and cranberries and raisins and things like that. It's gonna be a little extra happy, a little bonus in our MRE. All right, so that's everything that's in the homemade MRE from HomeGoods. Now let's start trying this stuff, see if it's any good. And before we dive into anything else, let's get our drink mixed up. And of course, to do that, we're gonna need the Dad Budget Adventures official bling mug. Ooh, that smells, this has a very pleasant spicy smell to it. So let's get it mixed in, see how it turns out. The cinnamon and the cloves and all those great smells coming off of that. Wow. All right, we're gonna set it aside though before we try it. So first off, let's try our bonus item, this Berry Nutty Mix from Nature's Garden. It's an easy open bag, I like that. Look it out here and see what we've got. Ooh, look at that, golden raisins. Love golden raisins. Got our cranberries, peanuts. I know we got more than that in there. Look at that, that looks delicious. Let's give that a try. I like that, that's a good balance of salty and sweet. Can really taste those golden raisins, those really stand out. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Can you tell I liked it? All right, let's wash that down with some of this chai latte. Give that a taste and see how it turned out. It really smells tasty. I think this is gonna be good. It's got a mild sweetness and a mild flavor to it that I like. It's very smooth, and even though the water in it's really hot and it's burning my tongue, that's a good drink right there. Definitely wanna try that iced. All right, next up, let's try this Quantum Energy Square. I'm really curious about this because with me, protein bars are really hit and miss, but mostly they're a miss. I'm not a huge fan of the flavor of protein bars, so when I find ones that I really like, I go back to it. Let's open this and see what this looks like. Looks like every other protein bar. It does smell pretty decent. Good peanut butter aroma to it. Not so much of the overwhelming protein aroma, but let's get a bite of that. So I don't love it, but I also don't dislike it. It's one of those things where I could kind of take it or leave it. If I needed some energy and some protein, I would eat it. And the fact that it's a smaller portion, because most protein bars are 2 to 3 times the size of this thing, and I don't do well with choking those down. This one right here, it seems to me like it's something that I could eat it without getting sick of it before I was finished. I could definitely eat that and not be unhappy. But full disclosure, I'm not eating all of this tonight. It's after 6 o'clock. If I eat this, I may not go to sleep tonight. So I'll save that for tomorrow morning. All right, so let's pop the top on our Wild Planet Wild Tuna White Bean Salad. These are always better when you can get them on sale. As much as I enjoy the product, they do tend to be really expensive. But Walmart and Kroger are both now carrying store brands of this product. They're not quite as good, but they're not bad. But as far as the Wild Planet brand, if I can find them on sale, I'm gonna buy everything I can put my hands on. Look at that. That doesn't look that bad. Now with these, the beans and everything sit on top, and there is a tuna fillet down in the bottom. See if I can get a look at that. So you can kind of see that down there. Down the bottom, little tuna fillet. So you're gonna have to reach down there and break it up just a little bit so you can get to the tuna. Let's get us a scoop of that. That's good looking stuff right there. It smells delicious. That tuna smell, the oils, the seasoning, everything that's in there. It's just a rich aroma that's just mouth-watering. Let's get a bite of that. I'm telling y'all, these are hard to beat. And while the can doesn't look very big, I can assure you that is a substantial amount of food in there. If you're a bigger eater, then it's probably not gonna be quite enough for you. But if you're a moderate to average eater, this is gonna be enough for an entree if you got other stuff to go with it. But I am a big fan of these things. I love them. And look, I'm a hot food hot and cold food cold kind of guy. Typically, when it comes to beans and fish and things like that, I wanna eat that hot. This right here absolutely does not have to be heated in order for me to eat it and enjoy it. There's just something about the stuff that's in this that just works at room temperature. Yeah, that's yummy stuff right there. All right, let's get in here and see how these teriyaki noodles worked out. Well, the box feels hot. I just hope the stuff inside does. The box feels very hot. All right, the noodles have turned out pretty good. Everything seems to be warm in there. At least warm enough. Let's mix it all up and get us a bite of this. Look in there. What you think? And while I'm trying this, it's probably a good time to tell you if you're enjoying this content, please support the channel by giving us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be made aware of all upcoming videos. And as always, feed the algorithm. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the items that I found in this. And if you tried any of them, let me know what your thoughts are. Also, if you have a store in your area where I haven't done a video before, please leave a comment and tell me about it. While I may not have it in my area, I do travel a lot. And while I'm out, I always look for those stores that I don't have locally. All right, let's give this a try. That is far from terrible. And the fact that the noodles are already prepared and really all you got to do is mix that sauce in just makes it that much better. I don't have to worry about sitting around and reconstituting them or worrying that the noodles are going to get overcooked. That's one of the things about typical ramen that I hate is when you leave it in there just a little too long and everything just kind of gets mushy. I mean, these noodles aren't al dente by any means, but they're also not complete mush. I like the flavor. I like that they have actual vegetables in there and not just like little flakes of things that you're kind of wondering what exactly they are. I mean, there are slices of mushroom in this. You know what there's not in here? Meat. Should I? Let's give it a try. Throw in a little bit of the white bean and tuna salad into here, and let's see how it works with this teriyaki noodle mix. There we go. Bon appetit. Strangely enough, it kind of works. A little bit of tuna, a little bit of mushroom, a lot of noodles. Yeah, I'm not going to hate on that at all. All right, that leaves us one more thing to try, our dessert. We have our Yes Bar peanut butter dark chocolate. Let's get into it, see what we ended up with. It kind of looks like the other bar. Kind of smells like the other bar. Are they trying to pull one over? Let's get a bite of that, see how it tastes. This one's definitely more nutty. It's got a better and richer chocolate flavor to it. I can tell it's dark chocolate from that first bite. It was just hitting me at the back of my tongue. That's not half bad. I like that. It's not your typical overly sweet, kind of like a Reese's peanut butter and chocolate kind of taste. I can taste peanut butter. I can taste chocolate, but the sweetness is a lot more mild than you expect. One of the things I really enjoy about doing these kind of videos is that I end up a lot of times with multiples of items like that. So I know I can always go back and get another one later as long as somebody else doesn't discover them and eat them all. So if you've been following this channel for a while, you probably remember that earlier this year, I announced a project that I'm working on called Operation Meals Ready to Feed. It was my mission with your direct involvement to put together 50 homemade MREs to feed the needy. And a lot of you have probably been wondering what the heck's going on with that. Well, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have an answer to that. Bear with me just a little bit longer. I promise you, I did not take advantage of you. All of your generous gifts have been very well received, very well treated, and it's about to all come to fruition. So come back in the next couple of weeks and watch for the video on Operation Meals Ready to Feed. But that's it for this one. And until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.